In ancient times, there lived a powerful king who ruled a peaceful and beautiful kingdom. His people loved him deeply, for he was wise, generous, and just. But greater even than the king's glory was the goodness of his queen. She was gentle to the poor, kind to children, and beloved throughout the land. And to the joy of the entire kingdom, a daughter was born to them. Her hair shone like sunlight, and because of her golden beauty, she was named Blondine. From the moment she could walk, Blondine filled the palace with happiness. She laughed easily, she trusted everyone, and wherever she wandered, smiles followed behind her. The king adored his daughter. But no one loved Blondine more than her mother. The queen rarely allowed the child far from her side. Together they walked through the royal gardens, fed birds beside marble fountains, and listened to musicians beneath the palace windows. Many in the kingdom said they had never seen a mother and daughter love one another so dearly. But happiness in this world rarely lasts forever. As Blondine grew older, the queen became dangerously ill. The finest physicians were summoned from distant lands. Rare medicines were prepared. Prayers filled the royal chapel day and night. Yet nothing seemed able to save her. The king refused to leave her bedside. And Blondine, still too young to understand death completely, would sit quietly beside her mother for hours. One evening, as the last light of sunset faded through the palace curtains, the queen gently placed her hand upon Blondine's hair. Her voice had become weak, but her eyes remained full of love.
My sweet child, always remain kind, no matter what the world becomes.
You will get better soon, Mother, won't you?
The queen did not answer immediately. Instead, she turned her eyes toward the king.
Protect her, always.
The king lowered his head, unable to speak. And before the night was over, the good queen died. A great sorrow fell upon the kingdom. The palace bells rang mournfully through the city. Black banners were hung across the castle walls, and people wept openly in the streets. For many weeks, the king could scarcely govern his kingdom. He shut himself away inside the palace, wandering silently through empty halls that still reminded him of the queen. But of all who mourned her, none suffered more than Blondine. The child no longer ran laughing through the gardens. Her bright eyes often filled with tears. And many nights, servants heard her quietly crying alone in her chamber. Time passed slowly, and though sorrow softened, it never truly disappeared. The king's advisors began to worry.
Your Majesty, the kingdom needs strength once more. You must not remain alone forever.
At first, the king refused even to listen. But little by little, his resistance weakened. And at last, he agreed to marry again. Soon, word spread throughout the kingdom that a new queen would arrive at the palace. Her name was Folktale. She was celebrated for her extraordinary beauty and elegance. When she first entered the royal court, many believed fortune had finally returned to the kingdom. Folktale moved gracefully through the palace halls. Her gowns shimmered with jewels. Her voice was soft and pleasant. And before long, she seemed to win the admiration of nearly everyone around her, especially the king. To Blondine, Folktale appeared kind at first. The new queen smiled warmly whenever they met. She kissed Blondine gently upon the forehead. And for a short time, peace appeared to return to the palace. But hidden beneath Folktale's beautiful manners was a proud and selfish heart. She enjoyed admiration above all things. And slowly, she began noticing something that displeased her greatly. No matter how beautiful she appeared, the people still loved Blondine more. Whenever the princess walked through the palace gardens, servants smiled. Children waved excitedly when she passed. Even the old nobles spoke fondly of her goodness. At banquets and festivals, whispers often followed her.
The young princess grows more lovely every year.
She has her mother's kindness.
Each word of praise struck Folktale like a thorn. though she concealed her feelings carefully. Jealousy had already begun growing inside her heart. About a year later, Forbette gave birth to a daughter of her own. The child was named Brunette because of her dark hair, black as the raven's wing. The king rejoiced greatly at the birth of his second daughter, and Forbette loved Brunette with fierce devotion. The queen rarely allowed anyone to criticize or correct the child. Every wish Brunette made was granted immediately. If she became angry, servants trembled. If she cried, the queen blamed everyone except her. As Brunette grew older, Forbette became even more determined that her daughter should be admired above all others. Yet this only deepened her bitterness toward Blondine. For despite Brunette's beauty, the kingdom continued to adore the elder princes. And unlike Brunette, Blondine remained humble and gentle. If servants dropped trays, she helped gather them. If children argued, she comforted them. If anyone in the palace suffered sadness, Blondine listened with compassion. The people spoke of her goodness everywhere, and every kind word increased Forbette's resentment. Sometimes the queen watched Blondine silently from across the great hall. Her smile remained graceful, but her eyes had grown cold. Little by little, Forbette began separating Blondine from the king. When Blondine wished to accompany her father, excuses were made. When the king sought his daughter, Forbette distracted him with court affairs. And slowly, without fully realizing it, the king began spending less and less time with Blondine. Only a few loyal servants noticed the sadness growing inside the young princes. But Blondine herself still suspected no evil. She believed kindness could exist in every heart. She did not yet understand that jealousy had already begun changing the palace around her. And far above the shining kingdom, beyond the palace towers and golden halls, fate was quietly preparing the path that would soon lead Blondine far from home.